We have come a long way in crypto. Literally this year, you can now start getting a phone that's DePIN and it runs a node that decentralizes a new layer 3. That's a next generation blockchain that makes everything faster and cheaper for everyone to use. And they're just building that right now.
And what's great is that the phone is at $299 right now at pre-order, but if you use our discount code Boxmining, you get 5% off.
And honestly, filming this, we thought this sounds too much like an infomercial, but there is actually a lot of bite to it. Because this project is backed by the guys behind Dragonfly Capital, and they back projects like Ethena, which is super hot this year, which is why we really want to talk about this. Now, what's interesting about the project is that they're already having a phone coming in 2025, and they already have node sales, and the nodes can be start running right now, which means you can start generating those tokens. What we will look at in this video is what XProtocol actually is, the tech behind it. Then we'll look at their nodes, what those do, the phone itself, and how to participate in all of this stuff, and of course, what's gonna be the pros and cons. And there's a lot of deep dive that we need to really look into before you guys can make an informed decision. Now, this is not financial advice. And as a disclaimer going forward, we do like this project, so we have invested in XProtocol. And also, of course, the affiliate link down below will generate a discount for you and for us as well. That being said, of course, I do actually think this project is pretty cool, so let's figure out what it's all about. First things first, let's take a deep dive into XProtocol. And I've taken a look at what they are on their website and how other people talk about them, and I don't think it does it justice. So I'll give it at a very high level understanding. So right now, the biggest issue we have with blockchain like Ethereum is because it costs dollars to send a transaction. Then we came the scaling of layer 2s, which is something like Base, and Base is already already a lot cheaper. It's 100 times cheaper. So now you're talking about cents per transaction. And then of course you get to something like your layer 3s, which divides that by 100 again. So now it's 100 to maybe even 1,000 times cheaper. So it's sub-cent. It's like one fraction of a cent, right? It's almost free.
Almost zero.
Almost zero. And I think it could actually even reach zero if programmers selected delegates to just help people pay the fee, because you're much willing to help people pay the fee if it's less than a cent, right? So this is where you're going to get the mass audience. Now, why it kind of works is that the tech is already there now. So they're using that tech that already is proven to work, but now they're kind of scaling it even further, pushing it to its boundaries. What's also kind of interesting about this, I think it's quite interesting, is it already falls upon kind of Satoshi's original vision, where there's a lot of participation for everyone. So this is something that's different. Like a lot of since something like Base, you can't participate in the governance, you can't participate early, but because of this phone, they actually brought that to the masses. So like even if you're in a developing country, you can still buy a phone and it costs like $299. You can start participating, and it's almost like that original vision of Satoshi, where it's like one CPU, one vote, one CPU, one decentralization. So now you're participating in the decentralized network, you're earning, and then you're going to be part of this new ecosystem. So I think that's kind of their edge in terms of the battle for the next layer 3.
Now, there's already a game that you can play on XProtocol, which is called Smash Quest. And on their first 5 days, there were already 1 million users.
It's a Telegram game, so you click it and go.
Yeah, just click it and go.
Yep.
But I feel like this is not the selling point of XProtocol. I think for GameFi in general, or blockchain-based gaming, that still takes a lot of time, maybe like in the span of 5 years if we're being realistic. So think of it as like a PlayStation demo.
Yeah, exactly. They're showing you how it can work, the controller, how it works, showing the transaction, how it works.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you want those developers to come on board and develop the next groundbreaking app.
Exactly.
And we've seen that with Ethereum too. I mean, when they first talked about Ethereum, no one knew what it was. They're like, oh, it was a supercomputer, and I think I talked about it in 2016. No one had any apps for it. There was no DeFi. There was it was like just when ERC20 tokens came out, and like just trying to figure it out. And no one knew how to these killer applications. So I feel like this is like really early on something like this, where like they have the vision. This is the proof of concept. So they're trying to allow people to run a huge amount of transactions on it. But I feel like this is where they really want to grow the audience. They already have something, they want to grow the audience, and then of course they want to build that entire ecosystem out. So that's a million people for that already. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and that's when I think right now is when it is super early to be positioning for these plays, because I mean, look at their investors. We don't just have Coin Fund, Dragonfly Capital, huge investor by the way. They've contributed to a lot of success of the biggest projects right now, like Athena,
Exactly.
Avalanche,
Right.
MakerDAO. They even have Saison Capital, right? One of Japan's largest financial institutions. But I think namely you see Razer being a co-investor as well. So seeing that they want to venture into blockchain-based gaming, they know that there has to be an infrastructure to support all of these protocols and games and whatnot.
Which is why I'm excited in the first place. And I just want to show you this. Ron, guess what this is? You know what this is?
That's Sony Xperia.
So this is one of the first attempts at a blockchain phone. I mean, this is from like I dug it deep. This is the Syrian Labs phone, and before these cost almost $1,000 to make, and they're quite expensive. They're sold as high-end devices, right? But now I see these phones coming in at a much cheaper price point, so $299. Okay. I'll be realistic here. These are $200.99 phone specs. Okay, it's 8 gigs of RAM, 250 gigs of storage. So they're kind of mid tier right now. Octa-core CPU. The battery is actually pretty large, and it's not bad. But it's like it's not the specs to rival, say, the new iPhone 16 Pro Max. But it's gonna be good enough to run for your average day driver, or if you want this as a secondary phone, I would say. Like if you want this to run your blockchain projects, and at this price, it's much more palatable. Like it's, yet again, I feel like the blockchain people finally got it now. They're like, oh yeah, let's make devices that are like $300 instead of like $1,500 or something like that, right? So now we're at, okay, this is where, if you want mass market, you got to do mass market price. So for the next part, Ron and Martin, we're going to take a look at how to run the node and then how the phone works in conjunction with everything. So yeah, that's going to be really exciting stuff happens.
Hey guys, let me quickly tell you about the Zardian nodes in case you haven't bought one already, or if you want to learn how to delegate it. Now, we'll put a link in the description if you're interested in purchasing one of these Zardian nodes. Remember, the shipping is in Q1 of 2025. All you've got to do is click the link in the description. You'll see the price of the node is currently sitting at 0.0546 ETH at the time of this recording. And with our discount code Boxmining, it's roughly going to be around $140.
Just remember that the purchases are made in ETH on the base chain. So once you connect your MetaMask wallet here, make sure you have some ETH on your MetaMask, which is on the base mainnet. So once you have your funds on base mainnet, you can just click this box, connect your wallet, and that's it. You already have an NFT in your MetaMask, which is associated with your node. Now, if you want to delegate your node, there are two options to approach this. The first option is to download their software, and then you can simply run it on your own PC. But here's a problem. This entails that you're gonna have your PC on and running 24/7 in order to earn those rewards. But I'm assuming that a lot of people won't be doing that. So the pro tip here is to actually delegate to a node as a service provider. So you can either use Node Ops or EaseFlow to do so. So I'm going to show you how we run our node here on Node Ops. All you have to do is go to node deployment, click on XProtocol right here, log in with your email, connect your wallet, then fetch your NFT. And then here you can choose the duration that you want to run your node for. So if you have purchased a phone, you can maybe do it for a short period of time until your phone arrives. We'll have a discount code as well for Node Ops, so we'll put that also in the description if you want to do that. And then you simply pay, and that's how you can delegate your node with a node as a service provider. And the same also applies for EaseFlow. They pretty much have the same UI as well. And that's it. That's actually a much better way to be delegating with a node as a service provider.
So very quickly, we want to fill in the advantages and disadvantages of a product. We really want to look at this at a high level. So first and foremost, this project, in terms of its setup, is very sexy. Simply because not only is it layer 3, but it has a physical device. It's a DePIN device that allows a lot of participants And because it's like we saw it's got good investors, which is great. But the problem is good investors a lot of times mean people don't participate early. But because they have the phone, that means there's going to be a lot more participation. That's actually gaining community. That's actually activating the community along, Satoshi's like original plans. 10% of tokens will be distributed to those people. So yet again, VCs are not going to be the greediest ones there. Super sexy. Second of all, the vision I think is great in terms of what they're trying to do. Layer 3 I think is the way to go because yet again, you're not going to reach a mass audience with transactions, a single transaction costing dollars. Fraction dollar cents is the way to go. So I think that's really sexy.
Yeah, I think not even cents. It's got to be fraction of a cents. Sub-zero. And plus the phone price is really, really good. Like this is good value. $2.99 to participate in a decentralized economy, giving support to a lot of communities out there. And also at the same time, you get token airdrops and airdrops from other projects listed on the tier 1 exchange, right? So very good value here.
Now switching to the disadvantages side, I do see one issue here, which is that for a layer 3 to work, you need a lot of working pieces. So it's gonna be a very highly competitive space because every project and like I would say every motherfucker and a dog is gonna run and try to make layer 3 work because they know that's where the mass audience is gonna be from. So this is already gonna be entering into a competitive space. So they'll need to start dominating the market as fast as possible. And if you look into the tech, they're using proven tech, but that also means that the tech is available for other people. Right, so they do have some secret sauce in there. I did look through their light paper, and there's a little bit of secret sauce, but their core technology is based on optimism, and optimism is already being used by something like Arbitrum. So Arbitrum can also make the layer 3. So this technology, yet again, it's going to be highly competitive, and it's going to be quite, I would say, reasonably accessible for competitors. So I feel like this is where it is a massive competition to see who can get the best layer 3 on there.
I completely agree as well. Layer 3 can be actually the key towards mass adoption. And you know how the saying goes, third time's a charm, right? So that in that case, that can be applied to blockchain industry as well. The third time's a charm for the layer 3.
Yeah.
So there you go. Because layer 3s are specialized blockchains for a specific purpose, right?
Exactly. So millions of a cent is really the target. And I feel like this is the grand goal for every single project right now. So in conclusion, guys, pretty cool stuff that we're seeing come out. I definitely see moving into 2024, I see like blockchain development being much stronger. Like if I made this video back in like 2016, I think like, oh, here's an overpriced phone. But now it's like, okay, you got something that's really strong in terms of just deliverance. But of course, there's still a long way to go as well. I think it's one of those things that you have to realize for blockchain, like Ethereum didn't get started over a day, right? And it took a few years even for it to realize what it is first before it started moving forward. So yet again, I feel like this is still very, very early on the project and there's a lot of risks because of the competition.
Yeah.
And guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys like this idea, comment down below. If you guys need more help running a node, because we actually do a lot of node videos, make sure you check out AlphaDrop. We'll give you detailed guides on how to run these nodes and how kind of to maintain it if you want to do hardcore and run it yourself. So check out AlphaDrop as well. And with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.
Shanana!